What's going on? Welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to talk to you about Lucid. I want to go over some of the current data points, break it down on what is prompting all this craziness today, and go over everything else you need to know. But first, make sure to hit that thumbs up, and with that, let's get right to it. So Lucid is down 9.48%, 271 the low, $3 the high. So absolute crazy day. No official news from Lucid itself, no SEC filings or anything like that. You do have their earnings coming out tomorrow, so that's going to be a fairly big deal for Lucid. But aside from that, there's just a overwhelming amount of fear in the market still associated to inflation. So a lot of that is rolling over from last week. Initially, there was a lot of green in the market, so first 5 minutes, but then I think once again that fear just overwhelmed everything, causing a mass pullback. But in Lucid's case, it's a little bit more complex than that, only because it did recently get a downgrade. So 𝗪𝗧𝗪, which is with Redburn, did previously have a $3.50 price target. Unfortunately, they did cut it to $1.13, and they cited this. So I kind of highlighted some of the key ones that you need to, or highlights from what their rating states. So high cash burn, 11 plus billion in free cash flow gap versus consensus, long road to profitability, more capital likely needed. It's kind of funny that they say likely. It's like they will need more money for sure, but efficiency edge, but scaling production is a major challenge. And so yeah, so they're seeing Lucid as not really ramping up, nor them having sufficient amount of cash for anything. And as I've stated, I do believe, based on last earnings, we'll find out a little bit further clarification tomorrow, but I do feel that they will need to dilute in Q3. So I do agree with them that they, like, the whole dilution and capital is a very big concern. But scaling, I feel like giving this type of rating and mentioning scaling the day before their earnings just doesn't logically make sense, because like Peter might come out and say, hey, we're going to do 20,000 for instance, or even 30,000 in production for 2025. So I've never personally understood why analysts give ratings a day before a big event such as earnings. It just doesn't make sense, because everything fundamentally changes from their earnings. So I think this is just pure manipulation just to try to bring Lucid down. There was also negative ratings on Rivian as well. So I don't know if maybe the Rivian earnings prompted the Lucid one as well. As I've mentioned in the past, sometimes they trade together for the most part. So kind of interesting. But there is also, on a positive note, one thing I do want to bring up. And so 𝗪𝗪𝗡 did post this. So there was a YouTube video. It's actually not that long, only 1 minute and 41 seconds, but it does show that, I guess, chairman of Hyundai and head of design recently did visit Lucid. So you have some speculative partnership, once again, rumors. With their earnings coming out tomorrow, Peter alluding to partnerships many times in the past, especially their whole 80-20 mentality of what they are going to generate from revenue, 80% from licensing. It is fair to assume that they have some partnerships in their back pocket. Just we have to wait to find out. I think a lot of people, including myself, were rather disappointed when Hyundai announced their partnership with 𝗪𝗪 earlier or later last year, but hopefully this is going to be Lucid's time to shine. So this video right here was posted 6 hours ago, so fresh stuff. So I'll have a link to this in the description below. So it has English subtitles on a side note, but it's not in English. You can see from the tags as well. But aside from all of that, though, moving over to shorts, let's pull up Lucid. So this is NEO. You guys don't need NEO. So right now, shorts are increasing 1.68 million shares. 19.55% of the free float is being shorted. Works out to be 232.85 million shares. So shorts definitely doubling down on the fear and increasing leading into earnings, which is rather interesting. But today, 637,000 in calls, 797,000 in puts. 53% of all the options being done today are optimistic in nature. Of the call options that are being purchased, you see a consensus for it to be above roughly $4 for this week. So if they do hit a home run earnings, that would be a very good return on investment just in that short time span. And that's why people love to do options and play earnings, because you can make a lot of good money. But flip side, bears are anticipating for it to be sub $2 now. So it kind of works both ways, right? You can anticipate optimism and the opposite happens. But aside from that, these are all the transactions occurring on the secondary market above $100,000. So big money definitely looking at Lucid a little bit more than the norm. So leading into the earnings, that's always a good thing. These are all the transactions occurring on the dark pool above $100,000. As per usual, dark pool is always very popular, linked to shorting and other just large transactions. With it right now at 279, it is recovering, but still trading between this S2 and this S3. So 269 is going to be that next strong support. Kind of bounced off of that general area, 271 being the low, and then $2.90 is going to be that next strong target / resistance. So just kind of take note of all that. But as you can see from my watch list, I know probably the tickers are too small, but everything is just getting absolutely hammered today. So it's a interesting day for investors. If you believe in a lot of these stocks, take advantage, buy the dip, do what you need to do. But again, there's a lot of fear in the broader market. And then moving on from here though, on the actual chart itself, it is right now below that 50-day moving average. So we know that's a very big deal for Lucid, and probably that's why shorts are doubling down, trying to really hit it hard. Right now as well, it is sitting exactly kind of below that super trend indicator and potentially testing that ALMA. So things aren't necessarily looking all that great for Lucid's technicals. Leading into today, I think Lucid was faring a little bit better than the majority of growth stocks out there, but of course, if you get a $1.13 price target by an analyst and it's trading at, let's say, $3 and change, it's going to get hit very, very hard. So we'll just have to wait and see. Tomorrow's earnings is going to be a very big deal for Lucid and potentially make or break. I've stated this in the past. Lucid has been kind of not the best on previous earnings, but this earnings is absolutely key. If it is going to just continue to get slammed and be eventually sub $2, or finally make a break for that $4 range. Options activity is a very clear indication that the market sees it as like, this is it, do or die right now. So a lot of expectations. So let me know your general thoughts. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. Give yourself a shout out. Are you buying today? Are you buying the fear, buying into their earnings, or are you kind of waiting? What's your general thoughts? Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I always greatly appreciate that. One final thing. If you're looking for some good buy signals, pop over to my Patreon and get buy signals on stocks, options, and crypto. Many of them have been absolutely on point and bangers. Definitely worthwhile to pop over there and take a look. With all that, appreciate all of you watching.